Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy, what day is today? Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday. Artandhustle happy hour. Oh my
Oh,
God.
wait, hair looks amazing.
Thank you. They did
I love it. They did an awesome job.
they did a tone, like I think they did 2 toners and they tried to blend it a little bit, and she did the curls. So
No, I love the waviness. It looks
yeah.
fantastic on you.
You know,
We're-
if I was ever rich, I would want to blow out every day.
I'd want to blow out too every day.
Yes. Exactly. And the drinks haven't even started.
Oh, and here we are. Good old days, the good old times. I miss those days meeting up with you, both of you, for the after work drinks.
I know. I think we went to that bar on, I think it was 8th Avenue. I think it was Lindsay's recommendation.
Yeah, we've gone to, like, we've done Latitude, we've done that other bar, and then there was always the one that was around the corner from you guys too. From 35th Street. It was like 35th Street or something.
Yeah, either Brennan's or Metro or.
Yeah, it was Metro we've done, and then
maybe
also Brennan's too, I believe. We've done all the different places, and then there was that other one also. Where the hell was that one? There was that one where it was that Lindsay's mom's reading thing.
Oh, that cute little restaurant. I think they closed down. It was like it was like
in the Toy District or something, or it was in a way different location. I want to say
it was like 28th Street and 5th Avenue. Because I can't remember the name of it. It was like a crab.
Yeah, it was some kind of like a seafood place, right?
Seafood place.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
love that place.
Later too.
Yeah. That's where you did a reading. You felt a reading for Lindsay, where the music started playing.
That was the Beatles song that came on, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. I know. I miss seeing you guys. Well, I see you all the time now.
I know, you see me all the time. Every Sundays now.
Sundays with Linda.
I was talking to Sharon, and she would, and it came like a coined phrase as we're talking. We're like Sundays with Tom, like Sundays with Tom.
Actually, that happened with when she was talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, it's like Tuesdays with Maury kind of thing.
Yes, so
like
it's Sundays with Tom.
Yep.
It's funny. So I actually started a Tuesdays. I'm gonna see if I can do this with one of my favorite teachers from high school. I'm gonna do Tuesdays with Schiavo. Because he's one of my favorite English teachers from high school, and so getting older, and I'm like, I want to get your knowledge and all the advice and information that you got that was so informative and helped me in my journey. I want to be able to give that to anybody else that might need some help and was listening to this podcast.
Oh yeah.
So so this is Artandhustle happy hour with Anthony. And so anybody who's watching who wants to join us, cheers, and maybe you can help us.
Are we live?
No, we're not live.
Oh, okay.
I'm just pretending, and then we can clip it, we can do whatever, we can put parts of it on,
no, gotcha.
Yeah. But so here's the thing, I have to remember during conversation to tell people to click subscribe and ask people questions so then they can put it in the comments, because apparently I just spoke to somebody before that one of the most top important things is comments and engagement. So so during our conversation, I'm gonna try to add in there. So if anybody's listening, what's your favorite fashion thing? Leave it in the comments. So I gotta remember to try to keep doing that, because I have no engagement. No one's writing comments. I have maybe 5 comments.
That's the tricky part, is the followers versus the engagements. Now all of a sudden it's not really about the followers, because there's so much about the fake follower nonsense or the robots and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So now it's more about to pay attention. If the engagements are happening, then if the followers of that person is real or not, based upon the engagement levels.
It's exhausting.
I know, it's a whole nother freaking thing we gotta do on top of everything else we have to do. See, people don't really understand. Social media for us in fashion is a nightmare.
Yeah.
because we have to do so many logistical things to get our businesses to run and
Yeah.
get the product out there in the
Yeah.
first place. And now we got to entertain people. It's
Yeah.
like ridiculous.
But
like-
apparently that's the thing now. It's so, I spoke to my tattoo artist who did this tattoo over here. So he did this tattoo.
Oh, that's so cute. I love
So
that.
yeah, so it's like flowers.
Are you keeping it black and white, or are you going to color that in too?
I don't know. I've always done most of my tattoos black and white, but I might add
I
some
do like the
colors.
black and white though.
Yeah.
It's beautifully rendered and
Goes
also
with my lip.
shadowed. Well, I heard too with color tends to fade quicker than the black and white does,
Really?
from what I've understood. Because
Yeah.
I have no tattoos on me whatsoever, but
Mhm.
I've always wanted one, but never had the money or the time to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
So
heard that.
So
What's
yeah,
that?
I spoke to
Go
my
ahead.
tattoo artist and I haven't heard from him in a really long time. So we basically thought that something was wrong. Either he moved out of the country, he's on an island somewhere. And so finally he texted us like, I don't know, last year. And then I finally talked to him on the podcast just right before this. And so he actually was the one who gave me some tips. Like basically he started doing like testing of advertisements on Facebook/Instagram, but more on Facebook, where it's like outside of Facebook. And then he started doing some advertisement on Google. And literally he said his business blew up so much that that's how he fell off the face of the earth, because he was getting so much inquiry
From
through that.
Google? Was
From
it Google?
Google.
The Google one was better than the Facebook one.
Yes.
Because I tried the Facebook ads and it
Yeah.
sucked.
So he
It did
said the Google one was
No,
better than the
have a
Facebook.
little notepad. I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So that's what I mean. Like these like podcasts, I've wanted this to hear stories from people and tips and tricks. And so I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I need right now, because I'm having a hard time getting stuck in that, you know, like algorithm jail, right? That we're in.
no, but I'm surprised because is it because you're posting too much?
No, I'm just in algorithm jail.
That's weird because you see, I've found of late, like I'm one, I've never given a crap about social media. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of fake bullshit when it comes
Yeah.
down to it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fluff with not a lot of substance behind it. So, for us, it's great to put up our work and as like an ad board of sorts for us, and like a portfolio that's easy to go through and see who you work with, what you've done, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Now it's taken a long time, but now, weirdly enough, I'm being handed things. Like
Oh.
people are coming after me based upon my my Instagram.
Yeah.
This is only in the last, say, 2 months.
Yeah.
This is amped up all of a sudden. I have enough content, enough interesting content that people, another producer for the show, look someone else without my contact knowing. But they said, listen, that other person is nowhere near your level.
Oh,
And
okay.
when we get another opportunity for one of our shows, we're bringing you right on, because he's like, you're phenomenal. So I was like, cool, thank you. And I mean, ridiculous money too. So all of a sudden now, my Instagram's performing when it really wasn't.
Performing before, yeah.
No, I was like nothing.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
cricket.
Yeah. So.
Or I just feel like, hey, you want to check me out? Go look at my stuff on Instagram. You can
Yeah.
what I do, da da da.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden I'm doing nothing and people are actually approaching me, which is wild. So, cool.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so let's document this. This is March 5th, 2022, and I'm waiting for that jump.
Well, no, it's like, but I think also the other good thing by the way of us teaming up and our grouping of our artist community, or our designer, artists, photographer,
Makeup artist, model, our Fab Five.
Like, what would they call it? Like
Fab Five.
The Fab Five, yes. But because we connect to each other, whatever one of us does, by default, the other ones get pulled along for the ride.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole group that works together on what we do in our projects. So it's kind of a cool thing where we all get the publicity based upon one person rising up.
One person posting it, and then somebody else might like it, and then they're like, oh, okay,
Yeah, and that's an awesome thing. So that's why I'm hoping also when the March 15th episode airs of FBI's Most Wanted TV show.
Oh, yes.
Because my name is all over the place, and then people will go to my Instagram, check out the work, and then see the multiplicity of all of us together.
Yes.
it could actually be interesting for, things to spread out to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So I'm hoping like that could be a big monumental moment switch, which we shall see.
Yeah.
But I mean, I gotta tell
But
you,
it really switched for him. He's like doing so phenomenal now. Like now he moved to South Carolina and he's basically traveling everywhere to do these tattoos. So like he comes back to New York for 2 weeks to do tattoos and then he goes back to South Carolina, but then he's like going anywhere else that people want. And so his business is like,
very
he said he was
cool.
getting like 200, 300 messages for,
Wow.
yeah, from the ads, he said.
And it's Google ads. So okay, good to know. Cause I'm like, Facebook ads did nothing for me.
Yeah,
I found them useless.
yeah,
It was like lovely. So got a few followers. I'm like,
yeah,
for a couple
yeah,
$100, I'm like, this isn't worth it.
yeah, yeah. I know,
But now knowing about the Google ads, that's interesting.
Yeah, but here's the other thing is that Google owns YouTube, so you can't get into YouTube unless you have a Gmail account.
What do you mean?
To log into YouTube, all you need is a Gmail account.
I don't have one and I can. I'm a
Really?
hotmail. Yeah, I'm old school. I'm like
Oh,
dying.
maybe that's from before, but now, so now if you try to get into YouTube, you have to go through Google.
Oh, now they force it because I
Yeah.
guess we all got grandfathered because I already had
Yeah.
a YouTube page set
Yeah.
up for myself, an account from way back.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I guess then we're all just grandfathered through.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
So now, like, when I was using my daughter's phone just to log in, it just instantly went into like Google Gmail, and I was like, why is it going? I was so confused. I'm like, what happened? So yeah, now it's like connected.
I do have to tell you too, the engagement on what the last painting situation that we did,
Yeah,
the last work with Tom that we posted from
yeah,
last week,
yeah.
went crazy.
Really,
People came out of the woodwork to
really,
comment. They said it was some of the most phenomenal things they've seen.
really.
Because the way you hand painted her and
Hmm.
also the way Nikki did the work of, the beauty work,
Yeah,
uh, beauty makeup and
yeah.
everything, and the way you guys were able to get her to blend into the paintings
That,
literally
yeah, yeah. I
was
mean, that was
so
also Tom too.
phenomenal.
I feel like that was Tom too.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
the lighting, the focus, Tom is
Hmm.
insanely incredible in what he does with the photography assets, but how everybody came together and got Christina to blend in so
Yeah,
beautifully
yeah,
and float in it. People that lost their minds were
yeah,
saying like this is the most incredible thing they've seen.
yeah.
So that was interesting engagement. And I had some serious people like one of the like sub leads of Hamilton. No, but I was like, that was an interesting moment where I was like,
Mhm.
oh, we touched on
Oh,
something.
oh,
So that's gonna be interesting.
yeah, yeah.
And tomorrow, actually, I'm gonna pull some fun tricks because
Okay.
I'm good because we're doing mostly beauty again.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do
Mhm.
the crop shots from waist up kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do some nice little tricks like Irving Penn used to do, where he would stuff flowers into things to have it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, like, I'm gonna do an asymmetric corset that I
Yeah.
have. One
Yeah.
side is almost to the shoulder blade, the
Yeah.
other side's on the just above the bust normally.
Yeah.
And Tom has like these black feathers because it's a black velvet corset with jeweling that my
Yeah.
mom helped me and embroidered it for me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stuff it with the black feathers he has. Because
Oh, that'll be fun.
remember in the corner of the room in the
Yeah.
makeup area,
Yeah.
there's a vase filled with black roses and
Mhm.
big black like ostrich feathers.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
So I'm gonna take those, I'm gonna stuff it and make it a really cool, like giant
Ooh,
asymmetric thing.
that'd be awesome.
And then I have fake hydrangeas that I grabbed that mom was gonna throw out that I grabbed from her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some vignettes where we're gonna involve like floral arrangements embedded into the garments.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't done that yet, and I've been wanting to.
Super fun, and that's funny that Lindsay also sent the TikTok with the flowers and all that stuff too, right?
Well, that's what triggered it in my head. I'm like, wait a minute.
Ah,
I never had a chance to do. Done an Irving Penn shoot with Tom before.
yeah. Yeah.
I had fake flowers with me, but we never actually went into that area.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, now's the opportunity since it's a beauty shoot too. We'll
Yeah.
do close-ups and I can like frame her and
Yeah.
also like have the flowers coming from behind too.
Yeah.
So it creates like a
Yeah.
ray around.
That'd be cool.
Which
So
was the ones here painting.
after we get off the phone, I want to take the bunny mask and then I'm gonna paint art is my hustle, blah blah blah, So I'm gonna do that after we
Awesome.
get off the phone.
Yeah,
And
because we're gonna do like a Helmut Newton moment for
yeah,
that
I think
too.
that'll
So
be
it's
fun. And
awesome.
then the other texture thing, I'm gonna play with some texture thing and blow a fan on it, and it'll be dry by tomorrow.
Yeah, but thank God for the acrylics to dry fast. So hey,
Mhm.
that's awesome.
This is like
But
a
you don't have
college.
the red
This is
one
like a
anymore.
college night project. I'm gonna start soon. Oh my
Well,
god!
you don't have the red one anymore. You sold that, right? The red textured one.
I love that red one. I'm gonna
Yeah.
make it again. Like I have some signature pieces, staples of me. Like the red one, I
Yeah.
love. The blue one that Jacob has, I love. The gold textured one, which I'm going to do tonight. So when you do, you can. I'm doing a gold textured, but you know when you photograph, we'll just do black and white. But that's like a staple of mine that I love too.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, bring a couple of paintings that are large too, because I also, of course, want to do it where we've got your paintings in the background too.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
So especially because I'm thinking your black and white abstract one.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that.
I think I'm gonna play that with the corset idea with the feathers coming out.
Yeah,
So that we'll see the main thing, because if we position her the right way,
yeah,
we'll still get the painting for the most part, and then just
yeah,
a little bit of the floral spray will come up her shoulder a bit,
yeah,
only on one side, because I'm gonna purposely push that asymmetric on the shoulder blade further,
yeah,
cover like here,
yeah,
kind of an area.
mhm,
And that way we're still going to see the great painting. And so she'll
yeah.
blend and she won't. So the asymmetry of the corset too will play into the asymmetry of the
The
head.
asymmetrical of the painting and the calligraphy-ness of it. Yep. It
Exactly.
all ties together,
You
right?
got it. That's why
I,
this has been so much fun. And Tom's enjoying it because Tom and I have been working for so long
yeah,
and we've done so many different scenarios. We've
yeah,
gone from hyper sci-fi fantasy to
yeah, yeah,
quintessential basic, like a Max Mara kind of
mhm,
aesthetic,
mhm,
where it's more simplistic in how we've done the styling. And
mhm,
now bringing you involved for doing the artistry, hand painting,
yeah,
and artwork involved and blending in, it's
yeah,
gone to a whole different place and level, which
yeah,
is cool.
yeah. Which is amazing. I mean, I'm literally having so much fun, like so much fun. Like I can do this, you know, obviously I can't do it every day because I'll be tired because I'm getting older. But, you know, if I was younger, I would love to do this every
Yeah.
day, right? Like, I'm
Now as
like,
we get up there, I'm like, Jesus, I'm like, I can't do that long haul I used to do anymore. I'm like,
yeah, I'm getting tired. I'm literally getting tired.
and when we've been hustling, art and hustling for this long,
Art and hustling so
I'm
long.
that we're a little tired, you
Yeah,
know?
I'm getting a little tired these days. I'm getting a little tired. I mean, like we've been working so hard to try to get our art out there, our fashion out there, our passion out there because we love it and we feel like other people will like it too, right?
No, it's a funny thing, and like, it's interesting hitting it later in life as well. No, it is.
Now that we're getting older,
But you handle things differently, and I think you handle things better,
yeah,
and you let a lot of the BS go.
yeah, yeah,
And that's why I'm like, when certain things happen, I'm like, cool, whatever. You
yeah,
learn not to get so super excited about
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Like, if it truly happens, great. If not,
hmm
whatever, something
hmm
else will come along.
yeah,
Because when we were younger, it's like, oh, everything on that one moment each time it happens. And
yeah,
when it
yeah.
doesn't, it's the big giant drop letdown. You
Mm-hmm.
learn not to put yourself up to that anymore
Yeah,
because it takes such a toll on your psyche.
yeah.
You know?
So it's better, you know, like it's happening now because then we're getting more comfortable with the lows and the highs and, you
Oh yeah.
know, but I mean, like if we could do these little photo shoots, you know, most of the time, it's like so much fun.
That's what I was like. I have always said, if we could do what we do with no
Yeah,
money,
yeah,
imagine what you can do when you finally hit those moments where you've got the teams behind you, you have
yeah,
companies behind you, you
yeah.
got the money behind you,
Mm-hmm.
you got sponsors behind you.
Yeah,
Then it's like the ultimate thing to be able to do.
yeah,
The sky is the limit then, because when you're so super creative on nothing, when
mm-hmm.
you actually have that something, you can
Yeah,
blow it out of the water.
yeah. I mean, I feel like we're doing with whatever we have now, and I literally think it's blowing it out of water
Oh
already,
yeah.
right?
Oh, that's why I'm like, I was saying, if we're doing things like this at this,
Now, yeah,
it's like with not much of anything. and we're blowing it out of the water already.
Yeah, I mean, Tom's photos are phenomenal.
And also, you know what, Tom, the other thing that's nice to know too, and it's something you should take note of,
Mhm.
when Tom keeps inviting certain people back,
Yeah,
that means a lot. And Tom
yeah,
is very tight on his teams,
I
on his
know.
players to work with.
I totally get that,
'Cause
Anthony.
also, again, he's at that point in his life too. He's older as we are, and we don't want to do the bullshit.
Yeah,
I don't want the drama on the set. I don't
exactly.
want the like every personality's getting upset about this, that, and the other thing. It's like, come on, it's not.
Yeah.
We're not solving cancer.
Yeah,
We're not
exactly.
solving cancer.
Yeah.
We're making some pretty clothes on some people and some art.
We're doing
like-
fun, pretty art and clothes and painting. Like, we're not curing cancer. We're not,
Yeah.
going to the moon. But no,
Yeah,
I
that is
totally know that. Like, every time I'm invited back, I'm like, yes. I'm like, oh, yes. I'm so excited because I
No,
know,
it's
I
fun,
totally
and the
get it.
energy is fun.
Yeah, I totally get it. That, I mean, I'm honored every time. I'm honored every time that I'm invited. The first time, and and then when he texts me, I'm like, yes, I'm coming.
Because the other fun thing too with you, as well as
Mhm.
the rest of the team, is if the mood changes in a heartbeat,
Mhm.
we'll adjust to it. Or if everyone's like, hey, why don't we go in that direction really quickly?
Yeah.
We'll pivot, switch, and it's great.
Yeah.
No one cares. It's not like, oh no, this is a big drama. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever. And then
Yeah.
we have fun, because
Yeah.
sometimes that's the way to be super creative, and you never know what happens. And sometimes you get incredible results that
Yeah,
you didn't expect to see coming at you.
exactly.
So it's
No,
like, that's the great thing about working with you and
yeah,
working with the rest of the team, with
yeah,
Nikki, Christina, and Tom. It's like
yeah.
everyone inputs,
Mhm.
no one gets all uptight where it's like the hierarchy of nonsense.
Yeah.
Everyone's equal,
But like
everyone's
that's
cooperative.
what every time I'm there, I'm always asking, I'm like, is it always this like chill and cool and like relaxed? But like, is that all the time? Like, when people work with other people, like, is it like that all the time, or no? It's like, no, there's drama, there's like
No.
egos.
There's times with other situations and teams where drama comes out for no reason. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
And
Like, chill.
I'm not,
It's
and
okay.
I don't like that kind of stuff. Like, I don't need drama. I don't need that crazy ego. I don't need people to be assholes. I don't need any
Yeah.
of that. And that's one of the things that probably turned me off in the fashion industry, is the egos and the kiss assing and all of that bullshit. And I was like, I don't really want to do that, you know?
No, it's like, what frustrates me is everyone has to put. Sometimes it's like, you don't have to put your mark on every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't need to change something just because, so you can put your mark on it.
Yeah.
Like, chill. If it's beautiful, leave it
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. See,
And
what
I find
here's
some-
the great thing is that when I went to school with you in Parsons, I think you're the same exact person I met in college.
vice versa. Like,
Right.
you haven't changed in terms of that, in terms of your personality.
No, I
It's
think I'm the same person, right?
Yeah, well, that's why we all clicked, and there was the
Yeah.
group of us, like you, myself, like we mentioned last podcast. It was you, me, Juliana, and
Yeah.
Mira. It was
Yeah.
the four of us that were
Yeah.
our little, like, kind of clique of sorts.
Yeah.
And I think it really formed big time when we were in Sue Kagan's pattern making class in our
Oh,
back
yeah.
corner.
Okay.
And I'll never forget that we all decided, see, that was the fun thing, when we all decided to do a little trick, and we would take, each one of us would take a section of whatever pattern we're working on. Like,
Yeah.
say I take the front, you take the back,
Yeah.
Linda would take a sleeve, Juliana would take a side, and then we trade off those patterns to each other.
Mhm.
And then copy those off, and then we kept rotating around, and we were double checking our work against each other. Because so those of you who are
Yeah,
listening to this podcast, to understand, in a pattern,
yeah.
there are certain notches to match up to, so we know things will line up as we put a garment together.
Yeah.
So things can go wrong very easily. So in order for us to double check ourselves, it's great when you hand off your pattern to someone else, and they can see, does it line up, and where did we go wrong?
Mhm.
And we learn from each other's mistakes
Mm.
and our own as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when Sue caught on pretty quickly to us, because we were done so fast that we started doing other homework, she's like, what's going on back here?
What's
I'll never
happening over
get you
here?
back. And I thought we were getting into some serious trouble. I explained it to her, what
Yeah.
we're doing, and the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. She's like, you know what?
That's really smart.
smart. It's against what normally happens, but I'll let it go because the way you guys are doing it and how you explained it, that and you're not doing the same thing each time, because I promised her that we will switch off who does what piece
Mhm.
each time, so each one gets it. Like someone gets experience on a sleeve, the
Yeah.
next time we'll trade off to the next person.
Yeah, yeah.
We're never doing the same
I
thing.
think it worked because you explained it.
Yeah, no, because I'm like, we got to cover because and then what happened was every section of the class realized what we were doing,
Mhm.
learned from us, and they all grouped up. So we had the
Oh,
4 quadrants
yeah,
of
yeah,
our
yeah,
class, and
yeah.
everyone grouped up into like 4s or 5s.
Oh my God, that's
And
funny.
then I remember the whole class was moving so fast on our curriculum
Yeah.
that she's like, well, since you all are moving so fast, then we're gonna do, she's like, you can't do other homework in here. She's like,
Yeah,
you're not gonna get away with that from me.
yeah, yeah.
But we're then gonna do fun patterns and we're gonna do creative patterns and you're
Hmm.
gonna do your own. So we're gonna go off plan
Yeah,
because you guys sped this up so fast.
yeah.
And then we were able to do fun projects for ourselves. I'll
That's
never
funny.
forget that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's funny.
And then that's why Sue grabbed onto us and
Yeah.
we were doing the daily lunches at Sammy's. Remember?
Oh, yeah,
On the
yeah.
corner of the Chinese restaurant that
Uh-huh,
we go
uh-huh.
to.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing our daily Sammy talks. You know,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
all have our like black tea and then have our
Mm-hmm.
lunches. We had our little lunch group with Miss Kagan.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
that's an honor. That's an honor in itself. I mean, come on.
but it was also cool because we were talking to her about life,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and at that point in college when you're discovering yourselves
Yeah,
and having advice from her about the industry,
yeah,
about life,
yeah,
that was some of the coolest memories of our
yeah,
group, our crew, and of you. And
yeah,
like, it hasn't changed.
yeah.
Here we are, fast forward
I
years
mean,
later.
this is what we're doing the same thing right here on this podcast,
Yes.
right? Like,
And
I
then
mean,
previously, when after work, doing our drinks after work and
yeah,
catching up with life and talking about all different things in the fashion world,
yeah.
personal lives,
Mm-hmm.
learning from each other.
Exactly. So this is exactly what this podcast too. Like, I want people to make sure they subscribe. We can ask people what their favorite fashion trend is. Leave it in the comments. We want to know what your favorite trend is. But yeah, this is an extension of it where I want to give out tips and tricks to people who are in whatever specific industry they're in, and to be able to help each other and help the community of like of everybody. Like, to me, like, instead of just regular art and hustle, to me this is like the art of life, the art of living, the art of, you know, whatever it is that we're doing. Everything is art to me.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
And for all of you, just a quick moment to follow us all.
Yeah.
So for Linda, it's at LINDALCHEUNG. So it's LINDA,
Linda L.
Linda L. Chung, sorry, Linda L. Chung. So LINDALCHEUNG,
Yep.
or also at sign Art and Hustle, and it's spelled out AND in the middle, not the ampersand sign.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then I am at manfredonia.us, which is MANFREDONIA.US.
Yep.
And then Tom for his photography, and y'all should get with him because he's incredible and hire him. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And he does do work for other designers and other people. So he can do headshots, from headshots to editorials to lookbooks.
Mm-hmm.
You name it, he'll do it anywhere in photography world. And Tom is at Jersey Tom 55. So that's JERSEYTOM 55, #55.
Yep.
And then also Nikki, who is our hair and makeup, who is phenomenal. And
Also
she
model too.
model as well. And she is at NIKKIJ_MUA. And then our model, Christina, who is phenomenal, and she can change her looks based upon whatever you put her in.
She's
or
such
her
a
makeup.
chameleon. She's beautiful.
And she is at xtina.evox, which is XTINA.EVOX.
Yeah. And then I'll add all of their Instagrams and I'll pop it up.
And of course, our favorite jewelry designer, Sharon Herrick at Illuminated Me, and her hers is @ILLUMINATEDME.
Yeah. And then I'll add it. I'll pop it up in the video
Perfect.
when I edit it too. But yeah, that is the amazing team that we've been doing Sundays with Tom. The amazing Sundays with Tom. And I'm excited to go in tomorrow and see what kind of magic comes out, because it's magic every single time.
Yeah, and tomorrow's gonna be phenomenal because we're getting some serious hair and makeup going on with styling and
Yeah.
art, of course. Next for you, for your art.
My evolution from my art.
You know, is there a period you're feeling for, you know, like Picasso had his blue period and different periods?
Yeah.
Like, you're interestingly evolving because you have like a texture period, you have an abstract period,
Yeah.
you have your collage like divorce, and things about your mom period. So is there another kind of direction that you're kind of starting to feel for?
It's funny. I mean, when I started getting back into my art, I actually literally did all three at the same time. They actually turned into three parts of, I don't know what you call it, my art personality. So I would have to do all three. I don't know, all at the same time, but all like right after each other. So I would do one collage first, and then I would do like the modern day Jackson Pollock kind of feel. And then I would do the texture. And I would literally have to do one of each just because it would cleanse the palette of my brain, of my creativity. Like I would have to do each one. And so these days, I think I've been doing a lot of collaging and painting. I have a commission that I have to do another collage. No, not another collage, a painting. But I feel like my next evolution is more of those colorful ones that I've been playing with. But I can't just do one because I have to cleanse my palette. So if I do a really colorful one, I have to do like the Japanese minimalist brush strokes. And then that would clean my palette. And then I would move on to something else. So it's like three.
See, that's interesting. You're working in a very different way than how a lot of artists normally do, because they kind of do a very specific genre first, where you're kind of doing 3 or 4 at the same moment, which is interesting. And it kind of makes sense personality-wise for.
You're crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
Because you know what?
It's all parts of my personality, apparently.
Well, humans are multifaceted, so it makes sense that there's many different parts that make up the whole.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that? You know, the rules of the game have changed on everything, on all the design and art fields.
Yeah.
Because it's not the way it used to be anymore.
No. Yeah. I mean, like usually people, when they're doing an art collection, it's a collection and everything kind of coordinates with each other. But I don't know. I can't think that way. I think it goes with my collage brain, maybe.
Oh, okay. Maybe. That's the other thing in fashion. We're freaking psychologists, because honestly, we are playing with emotions when we're doing design work, and we have to take human emotions into play as we're designing, because it's what we're trying to get people to feel or project.
Yeah.
That's the frustrating thing too, because we're playing with psychology.
Yeah.
And how we get people to feel or project into the world.
Yeah.
It's a lot what we have to deal with. It's not as cut and dry as people think it is. I mean, when I've even had ladies break down crying in front of me because especially there's been several circumstances on my own or when I worked as design director for other companies.
Yeah.
I even had, when I was design director for Isaac Mizrahi's Couture Collection.
Yeah.
Before jumping off onto my own, I handled a client who was, 80 or 81, I want to say.
Wow.
And we put her in the dress that we made for her that she ordered.
Yeah.
And we're in the private fitting room, and it was the president, Jane, myself, and the head pattern maker who was helping us with the fitting. And I think like 1 or 2 other people that she brought along with her. I think it was her relatives, and we zip her up in the dress and I lead her into the room to take the, to look in the mirror, because usually we have a wall of mirrors, and she looks in the mirror and starts to cry.
Oh, because you made her feel a certain way.
It was an ugly cry too. It wasn't like a nice cry. So I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
And I'm concerned because I'm like, this is a client and she doesn't it doesn't look like she's too happy. And I'm like, oh my God, what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like, are you okay? Is there anything I can do? Is there anything you need changed? And she's like,
Yeah.
she finally gets it together enough to talk. And she goes, no, you don't understand. She goes, I've never felt beautiful. And this is the
Aw.
first time in my entire life
Yeah.
that I felt beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm looking at myself and I think I'm beautiful for the
Mhm.
first time. And I'm like, I start to cry. I'm like,
Yeah.
you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're gorgeous.
Mhm. Yeah.
You never feel that way about yourself. You're
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're all cheering up. I'm like, even talking about, I'm like, oof.
Yeah.
When somebody says that, it's like,
Yeah.
that's wow.
Mhm.
But we actually do have some power in this way to like, we can make people feel so strong or so sexy or so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
Well,
This
that's why people wear they like certain designers or they like certain companies because when they wear it, they feel good about themselves, or then the specs are right, it fits their body,
Mhm.
and it's conveying a certain thing, you know. So it's emotions. Everybody just wants to feel good about themselves. They want to feel happy. They, you know, so
Sexy, positive, like
sexy,
they just want
positive.
to
Yeah.
do these things.
Yeah.
Or also, fashion can transform because now we come into an age where gender lines are blurred, gender lines are broken, gender lines are thrown out.
Yeah.
So now the transformative connection to fashion
Yeah.
is at an all-time high like we've never seen before.
Hmm.
Because now you can change your entire persona,
Yeah.
then some to the world.
Hmm.
It's a wild situation and very acceptable too now in this day and age. We're getting there. We're getting
Yeah.
there, I should
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Not fully,
Yeah.
because people are still, still these, it's an interesting, again, psychology between gender and sexuality,
Hmm.
which they connect, but they're separate at the same time.
Yeah.
It's an interesting situation that we've seen within this decade of this change.
And the interesting thing is that it's being accepted in children now these days because my friends left the fashion industry. She actually started out in costume design. And also it's a funny thing, she did costume design and also she designed for some ballets.
Was she in Parsons too?
No, I don't think
She,
so.
because you're Syracuse originally, right?
I was Syracuse and then I transferred over for my sophomore year.
Was she in Syracuse?
No,
How
I
did
don't
you
know.
meet her?
I forgot what school she is. I don't know if you know her name. Her name is Stacy Saltzman.
Nah.
Mhm.
I know other Saltzmans, but not Stacy.
So her name is Stacy Saltzman. I work with at Kids Headquarters, but I just had a conversation with her recently. But her background is costume design, and
Oh,
she was doing. I have it written down somewhere, but she was doing for these like amazing shows and like some ballerina things too. And I was like, oh wow, that's like an interesting like 6 degrees of separation of what you're doing and then what we're doing now too. Everything's kind of like connecting the dots too. But she basically left the fashion industry and started her own like kids fashion my style camp, and she teaches
huh.
kids how to sew, how to make clothes, how to decorate things. And she started her own business in her garage.
Oh,
but
that's
now
awesome.
but now like she's saying that she has to work with kids who are getting comfortable with whatever gender or whatever title that they want to be addressed as, and they're getting more comfortable knowing and expressing like this is who I am.
Out of curiosity, what level of kids is she referring to? Do you know age
Age
range?
wise,
Yeah.
I want to say like 10-ish, possibly. Or it could be even younger, but I want to say around 10, 12. I feel like it was around the age that I remember her saying.
Okay, that's when you're starting to get a sense of
Yeah.
things.
But then
'Cause
my English teacher was telling me that, I mean, kids already know when they're even super young, like, I don't know, 5, they already know if what sex they like and don't like, male or female.
so that's interesting, but I see I'm in a weird spot about this
Hmm.
because we as a gay person,
Hmm.
because even like across the board, gay, transgender, bi, all those kind of under the LGBTQIA categories,
Mhm.
there is a semblance of the same idea that we felt different.
Yeah.
See, the problem is, I think kids, when they're bringing these things up, need to slowly develop into this
Yeah.
because sometimes they're being led into it too fast.
Yeah.
And I think we need to kind of slow that down a little bit.
So
And
at what age do you think you started to realize?
it was more when you're in like fifth, sixth, seventh,
So that's around 10 something,
when you're in middle
10,
school.
11.
Yeah, around that bracket, we figure out that we're different, but I didn't understand capacity of what that meant. It
Okay.
wasn't until a little bit later when more the puberty years really kick in that then I'm realizing, oh, I'm more attracted to the guy side of things. So, but there's a universal semblance that we felt different.
Different.
We didn't understand what that different meant. And
Yeah.
I'm glad no one projected that onto me. Where I was able to figure out my different
Yeah.
for myself.
Yeah.
And I realized I liked guys a lot more than I like girls in
Yeah.
the hierarchy of, I believe in the sliding scale of things of where
Yeah.
you lie on the scale of from very gay to very straight, or like just say like even trans, I guess there could be a pseudo Kinsey scale too of where you're feeling
Yeah.
feminine to masculine, for
Yeah.
instance.
Yeah.
So I think we need to, as a society, kind of back off the kids a bit, let them discover things their own. And also, the problem is don't lead kids into these things. Because then if you say to a child, like say it's a girl or a guy, like, oh, well, do you feel, say it's a boy, do you feel more like a girl? You're leading the child into that because you're
Instead of
telling
just
them
saying, what do you
something.
feel like today? Or
Yes.
what
Or
do you
if
want
say
to do?
or if a child says, I like a girl says, I feel like a boy, I should be
Yeah.
a boy. Don't go anything more than saying why or how do you feel? Can you explain it more?
Yeah.
If you don't give them a leading intro to it,
Yeah.
then you're getting more truth
Yeah.
because kids can be easily led into things.
Yeah. Of course.
Because even like I know some people even close to me and family members that working with like preschool and young kids that are on the very early developmental stages of say pre-K through third grade. That's a very dangerous area for children to be led into things.
Well, you shouldn't be led into anything at that age. They're just playing.
Problem because some parents are like, okay, we're this, then you need to be this way. And that's
Well, I guess like parents at that age are still, well, they're gonna give their opinions on things anyway, because if you're a very bravado man, you're gonna be like, don't play with dolls. You're just gonna say that automatically. Like, why are you playing with Barbie? Or if the girl's playing with trucks, why are you playing with those trucks? So parents will naturally put those opinions on their kids no matter what.
Yeah, but I'm hoping like people start realizing back off of that. Back it off and just ask kids questions in terms of generic so that they can give you more
but we're just more open-minded. Majority of people are not that open-minded,
because there's issues actually from someone I know very close to me that asking me for my opinion because I'm a gay male on when did I start understanding that I was who I was. Because I explained, I'm like, there's a universal word that we all said, whoever I talk to who is gay, bi, or trans, that we all say different. We felt different. That's the key word.
Different.
I didn't understand until much later that I was gay.
Yeah.
I knew I was different. And let your kids be different. Don't put any labels on it yet, because they might start to feel differently and they might start to turn to different ways or on that sliding scale. But they need to do that on their own. Don't lead them, because you could create a psychological mess from hell for your kids that could screw them up even worse than what they're already going through, which is tough enough. So that's where I say there's danger in this, where you could really mess up a child's developmental stages by kind of pushing them or leading them into these things where they're not ready for it yet. They still are developing. They still need more understanding.
Yeah.
So it's such a tricky area.
It's hard. It's hard. It's tricky. I mean, you're developing, so like you are easily influenced by things at
And
that age. And
society
parents, I mean,
just
society and parents, like they're very closed-minded people who don't know how to handle these situations. And you have very, people who are going to be like, no, you can't be like that.
well, society and the world are just starting to understand this as well and get into it and
Yeah.
realize it and understand this is truth.
Yeah.
And this is the human condition. And this has existed since the dawn of time
Yeah.
for humans.
Yeah.
I, I love the Native American culture where there were the two spirits people
Mhm.
that were the between genders, which was so awesome. And then there was the ones who liked the same sex, and it was all okay. And they were kind of categorized in their own way of sorts, but it was such a beautiful way of categorizing and
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah.
Then it was like the dominant religious cultures came through and just destroyed everything
Yeah.
and destroyed all of like sympathy and being empathetic towards someone who's different.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that we're now going back to this again. Like the world has come full circle all of a
Yeah.
sudden to
Yeah.
finally
Mhm.
get into this whole area.
Yeah.
God, I miss hanging out with you and Lindsay together.
Well, I know. I would like all you guys have like great energy.
It
And
was
so
like
so what about like spirits and ghosts? Have you felt any? Oh, I don't know if I told you. Did I tell you this? Like Lindsay came over one time and she comes into my house and she's like, oh, your living room looks really nice because I redid my living room. So I was trying to make everything look like an Airbnb. So hopefully one day I can just rent out the whole house. So she's like, oh, the house looks really nice. And then she walks towards the kitchen and she's like, somebody here?
your kitchen attracts like the other side. Because remember, it happened in
Yeah.
your kitchen too the last time.
So she walked into the kitchen and she's like, is somebody here? And I was like, no. I mean, the only person that might be here, maybe my mom. And so I was like, well, let's walk towards the stairs because I feel like it's always like either Jacob's room or the bathroom and the stairs. So we walked towards the stairs and walk upstairs and she's like, yeah, I feel it. I feel something around here. It doesn't feel like bad. Maybe it could be your mom. I kind of feel like she's waiting for your kids to come home to make sure that they're okay. But it was just interesting. As soon as she got to the kitchen, she's like, is somebody here? I'm like, no, it's just me.
No, because the other time, like, remember your party and there was that, I think it was a friend of Lindsay's that
It was a friend
she
of
called?
Lindsay's. Yeah, she was about to get
And
married.
it was in the kitchen when I read her,
Yeah,
and I would never forget, she was a skeptic and she's like, holy crap, you
yeah.
nailed it.
Didn't you
Like
say
every
like you felt the
Yeah.
spirit and it was like warm, right? You put her hand.
Well, it was the two that was one. Two became one because
Yeah.
two who had been waiting for each other to pass to the other side
Yeah,
finally did recently. And it was confusing because they were combined together, wrapped into each other. So
yeah,
I was confused. I'm like, who died of this? Who died of that?
yeah,
I said, I can't figure this out, but I know it's a male and a female. They're intertwined. They're right
yeah,
here. You can
yeah.
feel it. I'm
Mhm.
like, give it a shot. I'm like, so I led her through the process. And she's like, oh my God, no, seriously. And I'm a skeptic and I can't believe you're doing this.
Yeah, yeah,
And I remember telling her how they died, each one,
yeah,
but I couldn't figure out who died of what causes. But I'm
yeah.
like, at least you understand that one died of this, one died of that. And she goes, yes. She's like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like all that kind of stuff. And she like was losing it. She's like, you gotta stop now because I'm a believer now, but this is overload and I need just to take a
Yeah,
minute, walk away.
yeah,
I'm like, no, go ahead, I get it. I'm like, go ahead, walk away. I'm like, but I'm
mhm.
like, I'm happy to know, like, to give you this message. And she's like,
Yeah.
that's what this is all about. It's nothing more,
So
nothing less.
when you feel that, do you feel multiple spirits and energy or is one particular?
It each comes in differently.
Yeah.
When they come in as two as one,
Mhm.
'cause I've had this twice ever. It was actually my grandma and grandpa when they passed, they did the same thing. And
Mm.
it comes in as this big ball of heat.
Oh,
Where
yes, yes. You told her to put her hand.
grandpa, when they finally passed, it was the night of my grandma's passing, it happened in front of my family. and they got to witness and feel what I get to go through, and
Oh,
in physicality too. And the
yeah,
same thing happened for her. So I'm like, okay, this is cool because I know this from before. I'm
yeah,
like, here's the deal.
yeah.
I said, these two people have been waiting for a long time. There's been
Be
several
together.
years between each other to wait, and now they're finally combined.
Mm,
So this happens when they wait for a long time for each other. And
mm,
because my grandma had waited for my grandpa died when just before my mom graduated high school.
mhm.
So I want to say it was grandma died in 97. So I think it was a good 40 some odd years.
Yeah.
Grandma was with
Oh,
no other
40
person,
years, waiting 40 years. Wow.
and that was the love of her life. And she never had any other
Oh,
boyfriends or anything remotely because grandpa was
oh,
it.
oh, that's so
So,
sweet.
I mean, that was the kind of love affair they had.
That's so sweet.
And when they combined, it was like something to behold of sorts, where it was like I never had this before.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, this is
yeah,
happening. It's right
yeah.
here. And I get to let my whole family feel
Mm-hmm.
where they are and what's going on. And it was the dead of cold too. It was like a winter time when grandma passed.
Yeah,
So cold in the room. There was no heat source from lights or anything that was like, you know how a lot of halogens or something, they'll create a heat source,
yeah,
or
yeah.
where you have pot lights where there's a beam of the light actually
And
creates a
then
heat
you'll feel the
level.
heat. Yeah,
We were in a non-lit area where there was no direct lights shining down or anything.
yeah,
And I'm like, here you go, guys. I'm like, come here, come over
yeah,
to me.
yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you what's going on. I even did this to them where I said, I'm going to put my hand here.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you guys to put your hands above and below mine. Do not touch me,
Mm-hmm.
but feel this area
Mm-hmm.
and tell me what you feel. Because I didn't warn them of what was going down. They're
Oh,
like,
you told them to feel it first. Yeah,
yeah. So I did that so they get a validation of it's not just me, and
yeah,
I'm psychosomaticing them into feeling this.
yeah, yeah.
So I put my
You're
hand,
not leading them.
so they did it. They put their hands in and out, and they're
Yeah,
like cold and like, oh my God, it's super hot here. I
yeah,
go, good. And go under, go around, and get the area and understand. And they're
yeah.
like, what's going on? I'm like, this is grandma and grandpa. They're right here. This is them.
Oh, yeah,
No joke.
yeah.
Because even Matthew, my little nephew, was a little infant at the time, and he was giggling because my sister went into another room, and he's giggling and he's reaching for nothing. There was,
Oh, really?
most little kids
Couldn't
got
feel it,
gross
see it.
matter
Yeah,
because
because
they
their
haven't had
spirit is innocent. They're not like
exactly. There's no
tainted with.
world
Yeah,
influence
there's
yet.
no taintness of it. They're just open to whatever they see.
Exactly. They're blank
Blank
canvas
slates. Yeah. Mhm.
starting in life.
Yeah.
So they're open to these things.
Yeah.
And Matthew had done this before on
Yeah.
several different occasions, reaching for nothing, giggling at
Yeah.
nothing, following where they're going in the room.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wild. And we
Yeah.
got to watch him, and he's like, oh, he's reaching around, and
How old was he?
he was only a couple months when this started.
Oh.
Oh yeah. There was
Mhm,
some wild times, and even when he went to a grave site with my parents and my sister to
mhm.
say hi to my grandma, my two grandmothers, and our relatives are buried in the same areas.
Yeah.
He went to my father's mother and father, so Matthew's grandma and grandpa on my
Yeah.
dad's side.
Yeah.
Matthew basically reached for nothing and then leans over to my dad and pats him on the heart 3 times.
Yeah.
So he basically was like, from them to you, they love you.
Oh, and
Because
he's
he
like,
wasn't
and
speaking
he's
yet.
super little. Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah. So he couldn't speak, but he reached out, was kind of waving,
Yeah.
and then he went right over to my dad, reached across my sister
Oh my
to
God.
my
Just to like
dad.
give it the message, like,
And it was like my mom and dad were on opposite sides, so he reached for my dad.
yeah.
He's only a couple months. He has no idea what these grave sites are.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
reaches for my dad and goes pat, pat, pat to him. It
He
was
said
wild.
she'll be right there.
Oh yeah. So
Lindsay
it's
said
like,
she'll be right there.
okay, cool.
Good.
So it's really cool. Like,
I mean,
listen,
I find it super fascinating and interesting, and I really want to know who's really at my house. Like, is it my mom? Is it my uncle? Is it my cousin? Because those are the three
sometimes it
people.
could be someone not related to you.
Huh?
Sometimes it's not related. Like I've had where
Mhm.
they're of no relation to me. It's happened before where, or they're just trying to get a message across to someone or something happened to them. and
Yeah.
they stick around.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Sometimes it can be just random people in your place that passed previously.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Mostly it's related to you
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, but sometimes there are randoms.
It can just be random spirits. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's definitely, I guess, in the kitchen area, and also either in Jacob's room, the stairs, or in the bathroom, because I'll hear I'll hear the floor creak right on top of me when I'm in the living room and nobody's upstairs, and the floor will creak if someone walks on it. But I'll hear it creak when nobody's walking. And we're like, what, why do I hear something? Like there's nobody up there.
I've even had weird scenarios where things have appeared out of nowhere. I'm not joking.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had
Like what?
witnesses.
Like what?
Like my mom was staying over helping me for one of my collections, and she usually would crash on the couch in the living room of my apartment in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
So I wake up and all the windows were closed. My AC unit was still in the window.
Mm-hmm.
And the way my bed was in Hell's Kitchen, I faced the window.
Yeah.
And I wake up and I go in the morning to go say hi to mom and good morning and have coffee with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, I would say like 20 minutes, half an hour later, I go back to my room. And this is I think it was like February.
Mm-hmm.
And so nothing's blooming. There's nothing going on.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I go into my room and I see this bright purple wisteria blossom that was perfect sitting on top of my AC unit on the inside of my AC unit. And
it didn't just fly there.
Can't fly there. No way to suck it in because the way my AC unit was, it has the fine grates where the airflow ducts are to come in.
Yeah.
So there's filters and grates. So there's no way it could get just sucked up and in and then onto it.
So one
single wisteria blossom sitting on top, perfect too, in perfect condition, sitting on top, because if it got sucked in, it could get mangled.
So has that happened often?
Well, two things happen. So I run over, grab mom, Mom, I'm like, get the hell over here. You're not gonna believe this.
Like, do you see this?
Check this out. I'm like, look at that. I didn't even touch it. I just went back, grabbed mom. I'm like, you gotta see this. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I like right there. She goes, what the hell's the flower doing there? I'm like, you tell me. I don't know.
I just want to make sure that you see the flower because I see the flower.
There's no flower arrangements. There's no nothing. So I'm like, how the hell did a flower get into my room and just sit and sit there on top of my AC unit?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Then another time, I don't really make my bed that often. I'll admit it. Yeah. When it comes to that.
When did you come in and your bed was made?
Well, no, my bed was made. I made my bed.
Oh, okay.
I put this same laptop what I'm using right now. It's a gray laptop, that silver gray Mac laptop. Yeah. I put it in the middle of my made bed. And I walked out of my room, again, the same apartment, walked out of my room, went into the living room to do work, come back. And it wasn't even yes, I have down blankets and pillows. This was much bigger than a down feather. It was about yay big. So we're talking about.
Those are big.
6 to 8 inches, pure white feather, perfect.
Wow.
Placed in the dead center of my laptop.
How big?
About yay big. So we're talking about 6 to 8 inches long.
Wow, a feather?
And feather, pure feather.
I think you told me this, right?
And it was placed identically where the Apple insignia is, because my laptop was closed.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the Apple insignia, going horizontally across.
What do you think that means? What do you think these things mean?
I think it's basically like guardian angels watching kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've had a weird thing where I think it was my grandfather, because I never met him. I know pictures. And I was in such a bad place. And I was going to meet a friend of mine in the West Village for a drink.
Yeah.
And I had to walk through these dark streets. At one point, there's a super dark street. It was right near where I was walking down Christopher Street. And I'm at a place where there's no cross streets for anyone to duck around and hide. And it's pitch black. I'm it's dark as hell and it's pouring. And corner of my eye, I kind of felt like somebody is behind me.
Yeah.
And I kind of did a quick look back fast.
Yeah.
And I realized I'm like, somebody is wearing a bright white suit. What the fuck? With salt and pepper hair. You do like a back, and then I was like, wait, what? And when I turned back around to see what the hell, they're gone. and there's nowhere for someone to run. There's no side street. There's no nothing. So if I had whipped back around that quickly, I would have seen them again.
You would have
There's
seen them run, right?
Oh yeah, you at least see a semblance of them either trying to make it around the corner or somewhere
Yeah,
because there's nowhere to go.
yeah,
Because we're in between the streets. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that person just disappeared.
yeah.
We're wearing this like all white, kind
white
of
suit.
weird white full suit, like pants, jacket, all of it. I'm like,
Wow,
what the hell? And then they're gone.
wow. So you,
So I'm like,
you
I
think
think
that was your grandfather?
Because I've seen pictures and it was like a quick, you see someone, you see the face really quickly,
Yeah,
and then they're gone. So I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh. And you know, I like to ask above for help when I need it, or
yeah,
ask them to give me a sign if
Yeah.
I'm supposed to still be doing something. And oddly enough, I usually get answered. And
So
quickly.
did you ask for answers or a sign when you saw the flower?
Yeah, I was like,
The
I was in a really
feather?
horrible place. I'm like, I need help. Please help me. I don't know what to do. And I was
So you were
miserable.
asking for a sign at that point, and you got
Yeah,
flower
like-
and you got the feather.
Yep. And then also with like seeing somebody, whoever that was behind me, weird stuff has happened in my life. And even for people I know, like my relatives,
Yeah,
strange things have occurred.
with your relatives too.
Oh yeah, where signs from above have come through.
And it went into like finally getting back to me, you know, my art. All I want to do is art. And the other thing is that I love stories. So like to me, art is in everything. Your art is your voice, your speaking, your connection, you know, you can feel everyone's energy. That's your art. It's the art of living to me. So art and hustle to me is the art of living and art of it and everything.
I hope that you cut that piece right there and make it your intro and your outro, because that was dope.